I'm Philip Brunelle.
And I'm Phillip Shoultz. And we are so glad that you attended our Music for a Grand Cathedral concert and wanted to take a few minutes to talk with you about the survey that you answered. You shared some wonderful questions, and we thought we would address a few of them with you now.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
But a few. So one of the questions was, what motivates an atheist to write a beautiful mass? Well, certainly in the case of Vaughan Williams, he himself was he grew up, in the Church of England, but he became an atheist. But what attracted him was the text he found so beautiful. And of course, people can be attracted to texts whether they happen to believe them, but he was also totally immersed in the acoustic of a beautiful building like Westminster Cathedral, London, for which he was thinking when he wrote the piece, and also the fact that he loved Elizabethan music, and that was incorporated in what he felt a mass should be.
One of your other questions had to do with how do conductors make decisions to show the music? So we had three different conductors: Anton Armstrong with the St. Olaf Choir, Philip conducting the ensemble singers and the mass chorus at the end, and then I did one of the pieces of the ensemble. Each piece of music has unique characteristics, and those musical and textual characteristics all come with gestures that you use to help you show the music. So we're not just waving our hands the way that we want to. If the conductor or the composer has written something that requires articulation, like in the spiritual Walk Together Children, we're going to have more angular motions that show that buoyant rhythmic quality. Whereas the case of the Mass, which was based on chant in many places, you'll see circular motions or lyrical gestures drawing lines to help the singers sing in that way.
One of the other questions had to do with the fact that we were on this concert doing some music of Benjamin Britten, and someone said, you did this beautiful piece about St. Cecilia, but he also wrote a work at the same time called Ceremony of Carols. And how was it that these two happened simultaneously? Well, the fact is, he was on a boat going from USA back to England, and because of that, he was writing on one piece. But if you're a composer, you have several projects going on at the same time. And he really felt that after he'd worked on one of them, he could work on the other. The fascinating thing about the hymn to St. Cecilia is that when he was getting ready to go on the boat, this is 1942, the people at customs thought that the document, Hymn to St. Cecilia, thought it might be some kind of German document that was going to be against the USA, so they took it away from him. So he had to go and compose this thing from memory, which he did.
And the final question we'll answer is probably the most controversial. Many of you talked about the St. Olaf Choir and their swaying during the concert. What I can tell you, it's a research-based thing that's beautiful. If you listen to the choir over the history of its time, you'll notice that they have never sung more freely and beautifully than they do now. And the reason that is because they have learned how to free their bodies for singing. So it's not choreographed. They're not like a gospel choir swaying together. Each individual person is feeling the music and freeing their body so their breath can move naturally to propel the sound forward. And what I can tell you is that if you go anywhere else in the world, singing and movement or singing and dancing go together. In Africa, most African countries, it's the same word. So I know it's different to us here, but it's something that is appropriate. And I encourage you to try it sometime. And we'll talk about how to not get dizzy another time.
And I noticed that you sort of were swaying.
I did. I thought I would just show a little bit of that for everyone.
You were. So thank you for coming to the concert. Thank you for your questions. And we look forward to seeing you at Welcome Christmas.